You're listening to the Joint Sermons on the Push Media Podcast Network.
We forgot last episode when we talked about old hip-hop being new again, that Rakim was putting out new music. Did you get a chance to listen to it?
No, I did not do my due diligence.
Well, here's what it is. It's decent.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it is.
But it's not a Rakim album, I think. It's not.
What do you mean?
He's on every song. He produced every song. And I think that's the point. I think it's a production album because there's too many features on every song. It's
Really?
not a Rakim. Yeah. So it's not horrible. And the people he has featured on there, he got them to do the right thing. They sound dope. So it's cool. I'm not complaining, but I was looking for a Rakim album.
Yeah. Well, who are the features on it? Like I said, I didn't even really see.
I couldn't even tell you at this point. But a lot of people you expect, a lot of people you don't expect, and we're like, oh, that matched perfectly well. The one that was great on it was Juvenile.
Really?
Yeah, and it was perfect. But it's not a big memorable. I mean, Corrupt was on it. Again, not memorable.
Yeah.
Not whack. But it was just something like, okay, there's something new to play.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, you could tell obviously it didn't hit that hard because, when the Pete Rock and Common album came out, it was all over the place. That was the only thing people were talking about. And I didn't even really realize that the Rakim record was even coming out until you told me. And,
as far as I know, there has been no promotion for it.
Yeah.
But by the way Common and Pete Rock rolled out their album was a masterclass. They rolled it out with 3 singles at the right way.
Yep. In
the right order. And then they just had the hype for that album out so much. Like it was like old school rollout.
Yeah. No, they definitely put some thought into it and it paid off.
I listened to it again yesterday. No skips, front to back. It's a dope album. I don't like when people say it's grown up music. It's like, shut up. But it's a dope music. Like he's just spitting bars nonstop. The beats are ridiculous. And Ice Cube's got a new album coming out, and I kept thinking of their beef, obviously, and how I don't have any faith whatsoever because based off the past track record of Ice Cube's new album being any good.
Yeah, I mean, after the Mariachi track, I don't think anybody's like who wants a new Ice Cube record in 2024. I mean,
also you're not gangster. Stop it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even if he did come back with some gangster business, like who cares? Like, I mean,
that's what I'm saying. He owns a professional sports league.
That's exactly what I was going to say. At this point, just run your basketball league, dude. Like, I mean, I want to hear Common rap, but at the same time, Common can also act too. You know what I mean? So there is some like crossover.
That dude's ridiculously talented.
But I mean, as far as Cube, I just don't care. You know what I mean? And
I'm done. He was my favorite rapper growing up, but I'm over
and that's the kind of sad thing about Rakim, because I mean, Rakim literally changed the game, but the way he rapped changed everything. And I heard the one single that he put out where he was like on the turntables too, and I mean, yeah, it's Rakim, but like, I hate to even say it, but he kind of sounded dated on it. You know what I mean? Like Rakim usually was one of those guys that you could listen to a record and it always sounded fresh. And this was like the first time I heard Rakim and I was like, ooh, yeah, maybe not this time.
Yeah, no, well, I'm glad it's a production album because I really feel that's what it is. He's showcasing his production versus, rapping.
His bars.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess. Yeah. I mean, I'll definitely check it out because, I got time, but it's just unfortunate that somebody that was that much of an icon just kind of like dropped something and it went double like wood. You know what I mean? Like not even on my Twitter timeline have I seen it talked about. I mean, I saw that list of like the top 40 New York hip hop albums, and it's funny, dude. I saw people like, why is it all old head music? It's like, well, I mean, what's really coming out of New York now? You know what I mean? Like, is there anything that's like going to push Illmatic or Midnight Marauders or Low End Theory out of that list? Like, I don't think so. I mean, I saw Griselda was on there like twice or whatever, but overall, I mean, it was pretty much what you thought it was going to be. Although there was a lot of Capone and Noriega on that I was just like, why? But like War Report, come on.
I have a distraction. I hope you can't hear it. However, in good fashion and good timing, I had a heart attack, which I promised to not bring up anymore. And so I'm not mowing my own lawn. So the landscapers have decided to arrive 2 minutes into the podcast. So at one point, my guess is it's going to be awfully loud around here. And then being a Mexican and having a pass, I'm just going to say racist things at that time, just so forewarned, even though they're white people. Because I'm not taking their jobs.
You hired white landscapers?
I just hired who other people had.
So you got a DEI hire for white landscapers?
And you know what? And the way they mow the lawn is, we're going to mow it as fast as we can and we're out. I'm like, yeah, but you do that with 2 people instead of like bring 6 Mexicans who are here the same amount of time, and then the lawns look dope. You know what I mean? Like the lawn, it looks like someone and they just like blow grass clippings back onto the grass and whatever. I can't push a lawnmower. I'm a decrepit.
That's why you got a kid. Put him to work.
I'm telling you though, my kid that's old enough actually has a job. But again, as a Mexican, I feel like I have to provide jobs for white people. And I don't think there's anything else to say about that. But do you think perhaps providing jobs for white people will be something that Kamala Harris, is that how we say it now? Kamala, or is it Kamala? Because one of those is apparently racist.
I just call her a cop.
Well, there you go. But still, also saying Kamala Harris is not racist. I'm not even doing that. But I mean, the Democrats, again, and I'm not a Democrat or Republican because I'm not an idiot, have shown how important the elections are to people, the voice of the people. They don't care. As far as my opinion is, as someone who's not a Democrat, is all these people donated money to Biden. They kept towing the line that Biden's fine. People kept donating. People, voted for him when everybody knew darn well this wasn't true. And here we are. It was almost like, here's a conspiracy, like they did all this on purpose the entire time to get all the way to this point to make Kamala the nominee, which technically she still isn't yet. But who voted for her? This is the woman who didn't get a single delegate vote when she ran on her own. Not a single one.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, I work with a lot of libs, and they were so mad. They're like, "You're still going to vote for her, right?" Though, and I'm like, "Why? No, of course not. Like, I'm voting third party. Like, why would I? But orange man bad." I'm like, yeah, I agree, but their policies are so close. It's like, what's really going to change? You know what I mean? And then, of course, it was this is the most important election of our lifetime. And I'm like, no, I've heard that. Yeah, every single time. It's like, if you consistently lose on purpose without providing any actual change of your platform or any kind of pushback at all, like, what are we doing? You know what I mean? And
what about her platform that doesn't exist? She has a website. There's no platform. And then they come out and they say she doesn't want to reform. Now, I'm not saying I'm for these. I'm saying this is what, she had previously been for. She doesn't want to reform the Supreme Court, which you can anyways, performative nonsense. She's saying she doesn't want Medicare for all. Like, what do you mean? So again, you're just voting for the same people. She's dumb as rocks. I'm just going to say it. And she giggles too much to be taken seriously. You can't giggle like that if you're a president. You can't just sit there and giggle when people ask you questions.
I don't know. It's all bad. And I think it's absolutely funny that like people think that like there's a chance for her to win. Like, are you serious? Like,
I think
look at the numbers. If you lived in California where she was the attorney general, you know exactly what her politics are. And it just boggles my mind that people are like, oh, but she's not going to be this or not going to be that. Dude, she's a cop and she's going to just keep giving money to
she was a bad cop.
People. Exactly. If you look up her records, it is an abomination. That's why
it's horrible.
It's
you know who I feel bad for though? Is right now, if you get on social media, there's a lot of black men who are like, hold on, I have a problem with this. And then they say why, they give their examples, and they're valid. They're completely valid. I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah, that's fair. Yep, can't argue against that. But then people are calling them out as like Uncle Toms and whatnot. And that's, to me, that's BS. I'd be livid. Like, I'm not an Uncle Tom because I don't want to vote for some woman who would like to jail me.
Yeah, exactly. And then keep you there for prison labor.
Yeah.
past your time for nonviolent offenders.
No,
Like that.
this is nonsense.
Well,
And
and
then
it's
she said
like,
she used to smoke weed to Tupac.
right, exactly. On
Street
the
cred.
what was that? It was on the Wake Up Show, or no, not the Wake Up Show. I'm sorry, it was at one with Charlemagne.
That's not the Breakfast
Whatever.
Club, but
Who cares?
that's not. First of all, the Wake Up Show,
I know. I said
which
it
I would,
immediately. I regretted it.
yeah,
Here
the
we
Wake
go.
Up Show is an
Yes,
absolute fantastic
yes, I remember the
history
show.
of hip hop,
I
and it
misspoke.
should not be compared to the Breakfast Club, which is just People Magazine.
Sway, High Tech, Rev. I remember. Yes, as soon as I said it, I instantly
All those
regretted it.
freestyles and
Oh,
in depth where they would just, and
Oh.
here comes the white people on the riding lawnmowers.
that's how I want you to refer to me from now on.
So if you guys hear this, call 1-800 they took our jobs and complain. Can you hear this nonsense?
I can't hear it. So
Well, shout out to background noise isolation, I guess.
yeah, because
You can't hear that. You're telling me you can't hear this. It's like it's an invasion. There's an invasion of white people here.
my plan's working.
Is it?
I don't know. Probably
There's a
not.
whole invasion. Also, that's another thing that bothers me. Stop using anybody from south of the border. And I say that because I mean all of it, South Americans and Mexicans, as some kind of invasion. That word has a meaning. And that is not what that means.
Well, it's
You-
fear mongering. I mean,
Of course it is on both sides. But do you notice though, it comes around for the elections and then goes away.
Yeah. Oh, there's always a migrant caravan that's going to take your jobs every 4 years.
And then they say, I think it was Sean Hannity said,
Oh, Lord.
someone had, first of all, I went through all that effort to like get rid of all these news sources. So I don't see any news and I'm willfully ignorant so much. But obviously a big story like Biden dropping out, you can't avoid it. There it is. Every person's talking about it.
yeah.
And so this is how I got to this Hannity nonsense. But oh my God, people actually watch Sean Hannity, first of all. Like they watch that.
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
my, no, I mean like, whew.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's just like, I'm like, wait a second, this isn't even a good discussion. It's like watching Rachel Maddow. It's like, this is nonsense. What are we watching here? This is weird. Anyway, but he said how, you could go to the border at any time and see illegal immigrants crossing. Yeah, you could probably go to any border and see someone crossing it. Like, I don't understand.
Yeah. I mean, it's just for a bunch of scared old white people to be like, oh my God, they're coming here. Yeah. People immigrate places all the time. You know what I mean? Legally,
and they
illegally,
don't know,
whatever.
and they don't follow the process all the time. That's just what
I
it
mean,
is.
yeah, again, it's like you said, it's an every 4 years thing. And now, of course, it's coming back up again. And it's just so tiresome. You know what I mean? It's like,
Do you think that's why Ice Cube recorded a mariachi song? So that way when we have
No,
the majority of the population that he knows what's up.
I have no idea what went through his mind.
He
when
famously
was like,
said in Really Doe, he famously said, "Essays deep, don't mess with them boys."
yeah, I
I also think that was
know.
him because that was during the time of shortly after King's Son and all that stuff in Cypress
Oh,
Hill.
yeah.
I think there was also him saying, "Please don't kill me."
Oh, I 100% agree with that.
As I drive around my fancy BMW M5 through the hood.
Yeah.
See, but again, I don't knock him for that. He's not a gangster. I keep saying this. That's a good thing.
Yeah,
You got
absolutely.
to grow up in a decent household with both parents that were there for you guys. That is wonderful.
Yeah. I mean,
Oh my God. Do you not hear these white people making all this noise?
no. Like
That is amazing. Shout out to Blue Microphones and their noise isolation.
Yeah, I don't hear anything.
I shouldn't have said that. I should have taken credit for the mastering when I was done.
Well, regardless, I'm still clipping that because that's going in a track. Absolutely.
Either way, these white people are here making a noise, and then the lines aren't even straight on the lawn. But that's something else.
Well, you should go out there and correct them.
You don't correct white people. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, yes, you do.
No. You don't touch a black man's radio. Okay. You don't talk to a Mexican guy's wife or kid or daughter, and you don't correct white people. Those are just things we have to follow in this world. And if you don't want to live that way, then we don't want to live in a society.
I mean, that begs the question. Then, can you correct me?
Well, yeah, you're a minority. The only thing you could correct in this country is a minority. You know, speaking of minorities, the people that believe that Joe Biden is perfectly fine
Oh,
is weird,
no.
right? They're
Yeah.
still towing that line.
I don't get it. I don't.
It's strange to me because again, it doesn't make him a bad or evil person. It's
Right.
happening to it's happening to him.
Yeah. Oh, this is like the last days of Reagan when he was
Yeah.
just like, you know, it's like elder abuse at this point. Like when Reagan was so incoherent and so like just far down the Alzheimer's rabbit hole that like, you know, talking to curtains and you look at it and you're just like, can we do something about this? Like this is the guy that's making policy decisions. What is going on?
Well, look at President Wilson. He
Yeah.
had a stroke and he was incapacitated for like 2 years, and his new wife, Edith Wilson, was making the decisions. She was signing the papers. We never knew that. Only a handful of people knew that. That's BS because that's a coup.
Yeah.
That's insane when you really think about it. Like, wait, hold on, who's doing what? Again, she may have been smart. Historians even say a lot of the decisions made were actually the right decisions. Okay, great.
That
Just
still
means
doesn't change the fact.
Correct. I mean, it just means she wasn't stupid and she probably picked up some things being around him.
Yeah.
However, no, you weren't elected. We have a process. But what do you think though about this performative action by Joe Biden, you know, or the body of Joe Biden? That's how we refer to him now, as the body of Joe Biden. And what that means, Secret Service, if you're listening, is not that he's dead. It just means that his brain's gone. And so the body of Joe Biden does things like, you know, like an what do you call it? Whatever, ESL.
Exoskeleton.
ESL. And don't ever correct Mexican. I thought we went to that. But he's like, oh, I'm going to reform the Supreme Court and do all this. Well, that's all constitutional. You have to literally change the Constitution to do that. You're not changing it.
Yeah,
it's not
well,
being changed. It's not.
I mean,
and if it is, it's going to take 10 years.
Exactly. Well, I mean, all of the things that the Democratic Party is putting forth right now is the same thing that they were putting forth, you know, 4 years ago, and they have achieved none of it. You know what I mean?
None.
Like the fact that their unnominated nominee has already walked back Medicare for all. Yeah, has already walked back healthcare. It's like, why would I vote for them? Like,
well, even Joe Biden saying, because all their rank and file believe it because they know so little about how the government works. They believe it. When he said, I'm going to get rid of all this medical debt, you can't. Any medical debt I incurred because of my surgery to the hospital is a private debt. It's no different than if you owed me $1,000. He can't say, well, I waive it for Doc here. Well, no, he still owes me $1,000. He's giving it to me. That's not how it works. He can only waive debt that incurred directly from the federal government.
Well, I mean,
that's why the student loans, like 5% of people, you know, got their student loan excused. ESL, well, shut up.
I was going to agree with you. First of all, number one. Number two, it was the same thing when he was talking about, you know, expunging criminal records for cannabis convictions at the federal level, and it was all nonviolent. If you get a federal charge for cannabis, it's obviously going to be massive. I think they released maybe like 3 people. Like,
well, that's the thing, because you were pushing boatloads of weight. They're not going to let you out of jail. And here comes the white people again. You know what I need? I need a modern day Paul Revere, ESL. And I need him to be out here on his little dirt bike going around my house and then squeezing like an air horn or something when the white people approach with their leaf blowers. That's another thing. What is with you people and leaf blowers?
What do you mean, you people?
Yeah, exactly. But what is that? Rake it up.
I don't have a leaf blower. I mean, I don't have a yard.
You can't afford one. You're a communist.
No, exactly. It's why I would never owe you $1,000. I'm broke.
Well, actually, I guess in your beliefs, it's both of ours. So you didn't borrow it, and I didn't give it to you.
There you go. See, you're starting to pick things up.
Yeah, I'm starting to. Yeah. If you could, we'd just like to take your picture. If you go line up against that brick wall, please.
Oh no, there's, you know, you wouldn't get the wall. You're fine. You get the pass.
I think I would be fine actually, because I would just play along and then leave. What? Like you wouldn't? No, shut up. You do not want to go live in a communist country in like the Soviet Union or East Germany. No, you don't. You don't. That's true. No, you don't. And you wouldn't. Stop it.
I would do it just to make you mad.
You're like sitting there all hungry and starving with no possessions. I don't care. I don't care. Don't let them know. Do not let them know. I'm fine. I'm fine.
I mean, what's the difference? Like you already said that, like, I'm broke and I'm poor and I don't have anything here. So go be with my folks, right?
Your folks.
My folks.
Cultural appropriation. This whole thing went downhill with the racism on your part. I don't understand what's going on. I think too much time in Tennessee. Speaking of Tennessee, what's with your people? What's with this white girl who did that Hawk Tua thing?
No, don't put me in that.
Let me say something though. So she described how she likes to, perform
exactly
fellatio, and then here's how I finish. Okay, I mean, this is like Kim Kardashian again. Like, stop it. I'd be embarrassed and mortified. And quite honestly, the dudes who put her in that position when she was clearly a little bit buzzed and out partying and whatnot, it's kind of foul. But she said it, and it's stupid.
Oh, well, yeah, it's extremely stupid, but it only takes like little things like that to go viral and just be an annoyance. Yeah, like as soon as I saw that video, I was like, oh, this is going to be a thing for like the next.
But she's made so much money.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the grift though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. She's made so much money. She's got products out there. She's got an agent. She's been, she was on Bill Maher, his podcast. And even he was telling her, he told her, he's like, look, it's fine. It was funny. You had your moment, but it's time for this to end. If you're smart, and she doesn't sound smart on his podcast, actually. She actually sounds dumb. I'm like, this poor girl. He goes, you would move on from this and try to do something with the newfound fame you have. You can make a whole career. Which I'm listening to him and I'm like, he's actually giving her valid actual advice, saying you need to not do that. To jump onto something legitimate, stop talking about it. He's a follow the Kardashians. They had the leak, which wasn't a leak. They published that.
No. Yeah.
But he's like, but they spun that real fast. They immediately stopped talking about it and then did other things while they were popular. But she sounds dumb, and all she does is she gets revived. And also the party of values, which I'm just assuming is country music stars. They invite her to the show, and they bring her up on stage, and she goes, Hawk Tua. I'm like, first of all, that's tacky by the guys bringing her up, but also stop doing that.
Yeah, it is insufferable to say the least. Anything that goes that super viral that quick, I already hate it. Like, it's just stop. Just fine. Just do something.
Did you guys ever have mac and cheese go viral as a kid growing up in communism?
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. And blue cheese.
Did you guys get the blue
rock
box?
And roll?
The blue box, shout out to Kraft mac and cheese, which to this day I will tell you is the absolute perfect box of mac and cheese, and any kind of mac and cheese, period, whatsoever. I do not care. I know you guys, everyone thinks I'm an idiot, but that's just racism. It is the best mac and cheese ever.
Oh,
stop it. You just you could. Hey, they were $1 a box when I was growing up, and you just couldn't afford one.
No, ours came in little red boxes.
And do you hear the government's helicopters hovering above me now?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like it's shaking the house.
No, wow.
Boy, I am full of paranoia and something else today.
Man, you should run for governor.
I could probably win.
You probably could, actually.
I think I could.
It wouldn't be hard.
All I have to do is get Nancy Pelosi to like me, and then they'll select me.
Yeah. Wow. Well, you might fail.
So what does this mean for Gavin Newsom? I think this means Kamala loses to Trump. I think it's very likely that she loses. Like, it's likely.
Oh, yeah.
Like, in October surprises exist. That's why they call them. But I think it's likely she loses. And then Newsom comes running. In 2.5 years, he's running for the 2028.
Absolutely. And he'll probably win that. You know what I mean? But it's, like Trump said, you won't have to vote after this, which talk about a blunder and a gaffe, dude. Like, what?
Here's the thing. That's what I believe that is, actually. I believe that's just a blunder and a gaffe. I think he would love to be a dictator if he could be made one, but I don't think he has the heart to go try to be one. You have to make him the dictator.
I mean,
he doesn't have the heart.
I don't know.
Hitler had the heart. Hitler had the heart.
He tear gassed that church to photo op. It's not that hard to believe that, he can only say something so many times before it's like,
Sure.
is it a blunder or a gaffe, or is this just
I
like
think he's a dummy.
foreshadowing?
I think he's a huge, massive, useful idiot.
No, well, absolutely. But, that doesn't mean he doesn't have people that are behind him that wouldn't like openly encourage that. I mean, I don't think it's his vice presidential nominee.
Well, here's the thing.
But,
Speaking of which, JD Vance, shout out to Sofas, but JD and Dolphins, if you haven't heard that one.
No, I've seen them all.
Yeah. Also,
Yeah.
shout out to the sofa store. I think it was in Missouri or something that had a picture of him in the front when you walked in, and they all these sales, and it said, "Do not let this man in the store." It was a picture of him, and I thought that is hilarious. That is grade A comedy.
They did.
They're
not
now talking about how to
all.
replace him.
Oh, you know what? I think as soon as he picked him, the head of cabbage that's like, which is going to last longer. That Twitter account was like, put it on the clock, because apparently like 2 days later, Trump was already super annoyed with him. It's like, how did you not vet this guy and all the like weird shit he said? Like,
well, I think they vetted him, but he was supposed to be the contestant for the opponent for contestant. At this point, it is.
It's a contestant.
Idiocracy.
That's all it is. Yeah, full on.
But he was the opponent for Kamala. Again, I don't know if that's the racist way or the not racist way. I can't keep up anymore. But
I just call her officer.
But now they're going to use that. They're going to use that as an excuse and say, well, they had to switch their candidates, so we're going to have to adjust as well because he does it with sofas.
Yeah, and the funniest part about that is like, oh, it was a lie. No, it was in his book until
that's
they
what I'm saying. It was in his book.
Like,
it was in his
book. Published. Yeah,
and then
in
the
first edition.
The Associated Press. This is the best part. The Associated Press came out and said that's not true. He never said that, and people are like, but it's in his book.
Oh yeah.
And then the Associated Press had to make a statement stating that they don't know who published that it's not true statement, because it is true, because he wrote it himself in his book.
Oh yeah, and people have posted like the excerpts online. Like,
no, it's in his book. I can go to Barnes and I can go to Borders. Remember that bookstore?
I think it was the first edition. I think they edited it out after that.
I don't care. It's in his book.
Yeah. No. I'm not denying that.
A sofa cushion.
And he like the fact that he was talking like that was like a normal thing, and I'm just like, no, that's not a normal thing. Like that is
it's not
disturbingly weird.
And then the dolphin search history and the things. Whoa! Not gonna lie. I went and Googled dolphins.
Well, I mean,
here's the thing, though. I was just Googling dolphins, like just for the sake of dolphins. There's nothing gross that comes up. So that dude was being specific. Yeah,
there's a joke that Chris D'Elia told about that. And this was like years ago. So it's been out in the zeitgeist about dolphins' proclivities. But the fact that he went and actually looked for it makes it even weirder. And that was him. It was like, oh, but JD Vance is weird. Yeah, dude. And then you went and looked up dolphin porn. And I'm like, yeah, you're a pretty weird dude. Like, what are you going to do?
It's pretty strange to even have that cross your mind.
Yeah. Like,
that's bestiality on steroids. Well, but you know what's so weird? When he says that if you're a woman who hasn't had a kid, you're basically not a citizen. Like, that's bizarre, dude.
Yeah,
like what party? Come on. I mean, what? Like, it's so strange.
And there's many videos of him talking about that and like saying,
and his wife's not white.
Oh God, I almost forgot about that. Thank you for bringing that up. Could you imagine?
Thank you for acknowledging God in this time and recognizing the one true holy Roman Catholic Church.
Oh, I didn't say which one. I just said thank God.
Well, there is only one, the one he founded.
There are many gods. But
okay, pick a god.
Yeah, well, hey.
That was my Indian voice.
I know, I get that. But could you imagine somebody like being so flippant about racism towards your wife? Like, I'm sorry, you would get snuffed immediately. Like,
obviously she's not white, but I love her. Like, what? I know, it's wild.
Like, if his wife didn't have the divorce papers on the paper, like the table when he went home, like, I can't even imagine hating yourself that much. Like, it reminds me of a certain other senator who regularly degrades his wife because
John Fetterman. You mean John Fetterman?
Yes, I mean Fetterman. And
when he like basically says racist things that can easily apply to her, and that one.
Yeah, exactly. But
the one who wore a suit, he wore a suit in Congress to watch Benjamin Netanyahu speak.
Yeah.
And did you see who
Yeah.
he sat next to? Just forget it.
And I
The dude's a
honestly,
poser.
I don't even want to know. Like, I
He's a
don't care, but
he's
just,
a poser.
oh man, but I know she's not white. That is just
But I love her.
insanity. Exactly. Like somehow not being white is a detriment. Like,
It was
geez,
weird.
it was beyond weird. Like, yeah. I mean, there's nothing you can say to that other than, wow. Like he really like, I have black friends, my wife. You know what I mean?
That's what it did. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I dated a black girl in high school. Okay, but you say the N word all the time. It doesn't count.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
but yeah, no, he's I don't like this dude.
Well, and that's like a clear delineation of what the right thinks about anyone that isn't Lily White. You know what I mean? Like the fact that he had to preface it with that is just shockingly. Like,
I don't even think the
mask
right.
off.
I don't even think the right as a group think is racist. I don't. I think there are racist people there, clearly. But I don't even think Trump is actually racist. I think he just says what he thinks people want to hear. But I think the right just cares about money.
I mean, he did get knocked in 74 for being extremely racist and then the Central Park Five. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure he's as
Yeah, but
racist
let's
as
be
you can
honest.
get.
There's a lot of people that call everyone racist and live by those words, and that person's not being racist. Like I said, Kamala Harris earlier,
Yeah.
and you seem to be okay with it because you didn't even correct me. So now
Well,
who's racist?
Like I said, I don't like all I see when I see
But
her
I'm
is blue.
serious. What's
She's
the
an
difference
officer.
between Kamala Harris or Kamala Harris?
I don't.
Is
It's
it is I to me? I'm
stupid.
like it sounds like someone's accent, like whatever accent you have.
Yeah, I mean, we went through this 4 years ago about like how her name could be racist, and it's just like, okay, but why are we back on this again? Like, yeah,
No,
this
I've seen those pictures where people draw her as like a camel.
right.
Yeah, you're pushing racism there, but also it does play off the name. I get it, but it's also the wrong type of satire. Even though I believe someone somewhere had to think it was satire and they thought they weren't being racist. But you have to be self-aware enough to go, this one's not going to feel right. I'm not doing it.
Yeah, well,
right?
yeah,
Because
you would have to have a
there's
modicum
lots
of
of
respect for
reasons to not
yourself.
like her and to not vote for her, being a cop. So
Yeah.
we don't have to make things up. It doesn't have to be
Exactly.
her race.
Exactly.
Also, racist people are dumb because then you have to, if you
Super
truly are
dumb.
racist, you have to give up music, movies, food from those other
Yep.
races. Do you know how boring life gets suddenly when all you eat is, what do communists eat? Like styrofoam and like lemon pepper.
That's exactly what it is. That's a traditional Sunday night meal. Styrofoam and lemon pepper. That's all we eat.
Do you guys even have Sunday nights in communism? There's no church.
I mean, we call it Stalin night, so I don't know.